What's up guys, welcome to your 24th C++ tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you guys how to read a file. I already showed you guys how to write a file, so it only makes sense. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is include some more libraries. So let's go ahead and put include, and the first one we're going to include is something called fstream. I think we included this last tutorial, but I deleted it since then. So, and another one we want to include, spelled that wrong. Another one we want to include in the last one for this tutorial is the cstdlib. I believe this is the C standard library, and this fstream is going to let us read files, and we need a method from the C standard library because we're going to be using just one function to shut down in case everything goes wrong. So, not really important, not part of the tutorial, but you definitely need them. So how this program is going to work is we're going to show a blank line on the screen, and we're going to have the user type the name of a file they want to open, and when they open it, it's going to read through it. So let's go ahead, and the first variable we need is a file name. So char file name, and just set it equal to 50 or something. Should be plenty enough unless you have some huge file names. So the next thing we need to do is, in order to open files, we need a special object to open them. So I'm going to name my object Bucky. So from if stream, go ahead and give it an object. Again, I'm going to name mine Bucky. You can name yours whatever. And now, anytime we want to work with files, we have to use that Bucky object, and this can use the functions to open files, read files, write files. But anyways, that's the object you need. So the next thing we want to do is give the user an opportunity to write whatever file they want to open. So of course, use your cin and get line, and this is going to give them a cursor, of course, and whatever they write is going to be stored in file name, and just put 50 again. Makes sense. And now after they enter that, whatever file name they type is going to be stored in the variable file name right here. So now what we want to do is open it using our file object. So Bucky, again, open, that's a built-in function in C++, and let's go ahead and open file name. The parameter it takes is what file you want to open, and of course don't forget your semicolons like I've been. So now what we have here is pretty much made a variable, an object. We said, alright, go ahead and enter a file name, and then I'm going to open that file. So now let's do some housekeeping stuff. The first thing we need to do is test if the file is open, and if it isn't, we want to exit the program immediately. So let's go ahead and put if, and put exclamation point Bucky is underscore open, and this will test Bucky is open will be true if it opens. So if exclamation point, it means alright. If this is not open, what do we want to do? There we go. Well, what we want to do is exit, and then go ahead and write exit underscore failure. And this, if you're wondering where this function came from, this came from the C standard library. So if the file can't open, we just want to exit the program. We don't want to, this is a simple program I'm building, so no need to do anything else. So easy enough. And let me scroll up right here so I can show you guys a little more. And now we can move on. So the next thing we want to do is, if the file is open, then actually do something besides just having a blank cursor sitting on our screen. So let's make another variable called word, and set it equal to 50. And make sure I haven't been forgetting my semicolons. I've been programming Python all day, so I might forget my semicolons, might not. So the next thing we need to do is get the value, the first value from that document. So go ahead and get word. And now let's say while Bucky dot good. Again, good is a built-in function, and this is going to say, alright, while we aren't to the end of the file yet, and don't use is open, because if you use is open, then it's gonna keep going. So good is a function that means, alright, as long as you aren't to the end of the file, And remember, this while loop is only going to run if the file is open, so we don't have to test for that. And what do we want to do if the file is open? Well, let's go ahead and just output to the screen what's in the file. So cout word, remember that's the value, and then let's go ahead and add a space in between, because if we don't, it's going to look like a huge long word, because whenever it loops through it's going to omit the spaces. So let's go ahead, and after that let's go ahead and just get the next word. So let me run this for you guys, and as you can see, well, you can't see it. Crap, tried to drag it, didn't work. But anyways, I have a file in the same directory named Beefy, and I'm gonna go ahead and open that. So execute, compile and run. Come on, baby, see how many errors I got. Come on, come on. There we go. So let's go ahead and type in beefy.txt. Go ahead, and there's only one sentence. It says this is a new file, the yada yada yada. And if you don't believe me, here's Beefy right here. This is a new file. Bam. So let's go ahead and try to enter a file that we don't have. Let's go ahead. See, I had Beefy in that same directory, but I don't have a file called like tuna fish or something. So tunafish.txt. Open that, it exits. So let me show you guys one more time how this works. We went and we included this stuff so we can use the built-in functions that came with what we wanted to use. You should know what those mean. But here's to the meat of our program. We first made a variable called file name, because whenever they inputted that, we need something to store their file name in. We next built an object so we can work with files. We had them input something on the screen and it stored it in the variable file name. We next opened that file, depending on what it was, and we said, alright, if that's not a file and if we can't open it, just exit the program like we did when we typed tuna fish. But if it is, then do this. What you need to do is we need to make a new variable to store the values. Each value was a word, so that's why I named it word. And then what this did is just loop through each word and put a space in between. And at the end of that, of course, system pause, return nothing, yada yada yada. Not that exciting, but you need to know it. So that's your quick tutorial on how to open files and how to read from them. Again, this isn't the ideal way you want to do this, but this is probably the easiest way that I can explain, so that's why I did that. So again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial. So thank you, and I'll see you then.